Hello, everyone, and welcome back. As always, I'm your girl, Candy Washington. So, before I dive into today's episode, which is breaking down all of the brutal rumors of why Kyle and Mauricio are still not divorced, I will tell you what I think as well. And I want to know what you guys think. Put it down below. Do you think Kyle and Mauricio will actually ever get divorced? If so, why and when? And if not, why not? So, as always, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. It's a fun and easy way to support me in the show, and I really appreciate it. So, with that, let's go. So, this is according to the Daily Mail. It says Kyle Richards learned that her ex, Mauricio Umansky, was making out with another woman at the end of this week's episode of Bravo's Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. The 56-year-old Richards and 54-year-old Umansky tied the knot in 1996, and they shared three daughters together, Alexia, Sophia, and Portia. They both stunned the reality TV world in July of 2023 when it was revealed that they had split, though they both released a statement denying that they are divorcing. Still, nearly 2 years later, there's no clarity about whether or not Kyle and Mauricio are splitting for good or getting back together, which was complicated greatly when Mauricio was spotted making out with a much younger woman back in July of 2024. At the same time, Kyle was sparking rumors of a lesbian romance with singer Morgan Wade, while the woman Mauricio Umansky was making out with was later identified as 33-year-old actress Nikita Khan. Kyle found out about Mauricio's tryst at the end of Tuesday's episode, with fans flocking to social media to share their theories about why Kyle and Mauricio have still not yet gotten a divorce. Okay. During Tuesday's new episode of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Kyle and Drake Kimsey were trying to mend their fences, talking about their respective splits. Da-da-da-da. Let's see. Okay, so one person speculates, I feel like Mauricio is putting off the divorce because he doesn't want to deal with separating their entangled finances as tied to the agency. And he knows Kyle's will go along with staying separated because he knows she's scared of officially giving up on the life they had together, theorized Gibbs Johnson. The agency he referred to is Umansky's successful real estate agency he founded in 2011, where he has sold more than $5 billion worth of properties. The former couple's personal net worth was reportedly over $100 million in 2024, though it's unclear how much Kyle and Mauricio might be worth each alone. There are some, like at It's a Bravo World, speculating Umansky doesn't want his worth being made public in a divorce proceeding. Mauricio doesn't want his financial stuff to get out in a divorce, and Kyle knows it. That's why they're not divorced, the Twitter user said. Still, others were hopeful for reconciliation, like at Bravo University, who said, deep down, I think Mo and Kyle will get back together. I don't see them wanting to be old with anyone else but each other. Others, like Declare26, said, Kyle, sweetheart, I'm going to hold your hand. Mauricio doesn't want to do a formal divorce because he doesn't want to give you half. It had nothing to do with the love. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Okay, this is the thing. I think it's kind of a little bit of both. I think that the bulk of it is financial. I agree. I don't think Mauricio wants a divorce because I think that opens everything up to, shout out to Sutton Strack with the, financial forensics people to go in. I don't think he wants a deep dive into his finances, into the agency's finances. We know that the agency has been sued left, right, and center. Mauricio and his partners have been sued left, right, and center for fraud, for corruption, you name it. They've been sued for it, from PPP loans, from doing their clients dirty, from stealing from the government, from all types of stuff, multi-million dollars of fraud claims against them and lawsuits, right? So, and again, and this is just my opinion, I think the reason why a lot of their fraud goes away is because of the people that they're dealing with are very powerful. Not because they're innocent and they're not committing fraud, but because the people that would be exposed in their fraud has deep pockets and very powerful friends. Again, that is just my opinion. I'm not saying that is the truth. That's an allegation. That's just what I think in my head. Okay. Now, a divorce would crack that wide open. It would crack it all open. So I think that he's really scared to have all of that exposed. I also think that in his mind, the agency is his, where I think in Kyle's mind, the agency is theirs. You know what I mean? And I don't think he wants to share it with her because I think in his mind, that is his company that he built. Even though, let's be honest, if it were not for Kyle, her family, her money, her connections, everything she did for him, there would be no agency. You know what I mean? Like, come on. Like, let's be honest. Kyle made Mauricio. It is what it is. Kyle Richards, Kathy Hilton made Mauricio. Rick Hilton, let's just call a thing. And I don't think he wants to share. I don't think he wants to admit that he is who he is because of his wife. I think he thinks that the agency is his baby. I also think he's on some get back with Kyle. I think that he was very embarrassed and very emasculated when she was doing her stuff with Morgan Wade. I still don't think Kyle and Morgan is some like lesbian love affair. I think it's kind of a PR stunt. I think it's just a weird, bizarre. He's denied the rumors that there's anything sexual ever happened between Morgan and Kyle. Who knows? But it's still embarrassing. Of course, over the years, over decades, there's been allegations of Mauricio cheating on Kyle. However, Mauricio has never publicly embarrassed Kyle the way and flaunted any alleged affair the way Kyle did with Morgan. You know, they're out here touching, doing sexual videos, getting tattoos, morphing into each other. Are they, aren't they? This, that, and the third, very publicly. And I think that if Mauricio was out here doing that with a woman or a man or a transgender person or whoever the case may be, everybody would be up in arms the way people are up in arms about Mauricio now being seen with his now ex-girlfriend Nikita Khan, even though they are technically separated and they're allowed to date whoever they want. So I think that just because Mauricio is a guy and Kyle's a woman and Morgan's a woman doesn't make it any less emasculating and embarrassing and hurtful that his wife at the time, because they had not yet separated when Kyle was out here doing the absolute most with Morgan Wade, that's embarrassing and emasculating. And I think he's on some get back. I think he wants to play. I think he wants to date the models. I think he wants to date the young, hot things. I think he wants to make it public. I think he wants to do his midlife crisis very loud and out there because he's on his get back. Now, whether or not they divorce, I still don't see them actually divorcing. Again, I could be wrong. Who knows? I don't really know these people, but I just don't really see them divorcing. I could see them living separate lives to the end and doing their financial stuff, even selling of the houses privately on the back end, but without making it public because of all of the lawsuits and this, that, and the third, and living separate lives to the end, or a potential reconciliation. But I just don't see them divorce. I could be wrong. Time will tell. But I want to know what you guys think about this. What do you think about all the speculations of why Kyle and Mauricio aren't divorced? Again, I think it's because of I think the core of it is money and lawsuits and probably a lot of illegal activity when it comes to the agency and how they got their money and how they keep their money and all of that. I personally don't think it's all legit. Again, that's speculation. That's my opinion coming from my head. I'm not saying this is true. I am not defaming these people. I'm not doing any of that. So, Umansky, Kyle, don't come after me. Don't sue me because I'm not defaming you. I'm just saying what I think in my head, not saying this is legit. Okay. I just personally think that there's a lot of fraud skeletons in the agency's closet. Maybe something going on outside the agency. Who knows that they don't want on Front Street? And that's a big reason. And then also, I think now Mauricio is just on his get back. He wants to be able to do what he wants to do in public. I think if Kyle had it her way, they would be back together. I think she was in crisis. And I think she was in crisis because her friend passed away in such a tragic way. I think she was in crisis because she was also having a midlife crisis. Who am I? What am I doing with my life? Like, am I happy? Am I not happy? What's going on? Becoming an empty nester, all of those things. I think she was just in crisis. And she had a husband who was very accustomed to doing his own thing and having her sort of just be there. And she felt neglected and she felt taken for granted and she blew up her life. And now that she's got some distance from it, I think she wants Mauricio back, but I also think she wants a better marriage. I think she wants someone who is more checked in, who is more of a partner. So, do I think she wants Mauricio back? Yes, but I also think she wants a more authentic marriage than the one she had to Mauricio, if that makes sense. I also think I know Kyle gets a lot of slack about not being honest about her life, and I agree that she hasn't in the past. But I think now she's being more honest about what's going on. And I do think that when she talks about being lonely and about being unsure about the next phase of her life and what that will look like, I actually think it's good for Kyle to live on her own. You know, if you think about it, she became a mom at 19 and she's been married and a mom basically since she was a child, 19. And I don't think she's ever had a time in her life where she was just Kyle. Instead of Kyle the sister, Kyle the wife, Kyle the mom. And I think even though that might be scary, I think it's necessary. I think everyone, but I think especially women should have a time in their life where you're just you. You're not a mom, you're not a wife, you're not a daughter, you're not a sister, you're just you as yourself, living on your own, dating yourself, figuring out who you are, connecting to you and having you and your wants and needs being your best and first priority. And I don't think Kyle ever really got that. I think that's why we see a lot with Kyle, her immature behavior, her being very emotionally stunted, the codependency with her sisters, the acting out, all of that stuff, because she didn't really ever get to grow up into her own self. And I'm not giving her a pass for bad behavior, but I do think that context matters. And I think that that's a lot of what we see in her is somebody who basically went from being a child to being a child mom, child wife, but they never grew into woman, if that makes sense. So I want to know what you guys think about this. And what are you thinking about this season? Do you think Kyle and Mauricio will ever actually get divorced? Do you believe the Kyle and Morgan rumors? At this point, who really cares? And yeah, are you liking this season? So as always, be sure to like, subscribe, and share.